When you're ready, you can wiggle your fingers and toes. You can stay in the position that you are. Of course, I just need to hear your voice. I'm going to let you know what I played or what I was asked to play. Um, your most harmonious was the solar plexus and your sacral chakra. And I thought, oh, yes, this makes so much sense for resilience because what the solar plexus does is it really shines a light on all of our strengths. It really moves energy into our best and our brightest self, which reminded me a lot of the notebook when you pulled it up, and it mentioned gold. And the solar plexus chakra is the chakra of gold, right? It's the chakra of yellow. It's that bold and uninhibited self. And so connecting that with the sacral chakra is really significant because what this means is that there's this space of gold needing to be shined on the things that you are creating. Um, and because I know we've had, previous experience in this new journey of career and life choices that um, you've been called to make, right? And I'm saying called to make, not because so many people choose to change careers, but you have been called to expand yourself in a new way and to heal people in a new and different way than you have in the past. And so that means creating a whole new life, a whole new framework, a whole new way of accessing your own healing gifts and also accessing new, ways of doing business, like we talked about with the podcast. And so there may be fears coming up for you. And so Spirit is wanting to make sure to align your energy in a way that really shines, right? Really shines that golden light on your new endeavors. And especially, like I said, because you mentioned a podcast that also speaks about being out front, right? And having to show yourself and shine and share with people in a way that you have not had to be vulnerable before. And so there may be a little bit of fear within your nervous system that's like, should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? And
Right. Yeah, definitely.
that's definitely happening.
That's definitely because I bought this citrine oil and I've been rubbing it on my solar plexus when I would meditate, when I do yoga.
Yeah,
And that's, I've just felt called like I needed some extra love or,
yeah,
healing in that area. And it's not funny. Of course, I'm realizing not everything, it's not a coincidence because in my yoga teacher training, we went around and shared what we thought our superpower would be. And I said resilience, but I didn't feel good about it because I felt like it was a survival.
yeah,
Um, and I felt like, in being resilient, I would lose a little bit of my authenticity.
uh-huh.
But so this helped me realize I can be resilient in a different way. Like it doesn't have to be I'm adapting to a new environment. Like I had to use my resilience in the past. This is a new way to use my resilience. So I got a lot of clarity about resilience. I feel better about it because yesterday when I said it, and even when I said it to a group, I was like, I'm
This
resilient.
was
That's my
yesterday.
super. Yesterday, you hear me? Yesterday.
Girl, I thought this was like months and months ago. You're saying yesterday your
Yesterday
affirmation
we
for yourself was resilience?
Yes, but I didn't feel good about it. I was like, I'm resilient, but I feel like, why do I have to be resilient? I don't want to, I was like, I want to
Yeah,
live the soft life. I'm on,
yeah,
I'm like, why do I? Because another classmate shared the same thing. Resilience was hers, but she went before me. And when the things that she said about, like, it's always feeling like I had to be strong in these spaces, like, why do I have to be? And I was like, oh, I felt all of that. So I think it kind of like, I was like, that's how I feel resilience is. Like, resilience is like, it's not it didn't seem like a,
It seemed like
hmm.
another stereotypical strong black woman comment.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
kept
yeah,
coming to me. I was
yeah.
like, why I gotta
No,
be the
I'm with
strong
you.
black woman?
I'm with
Yes,
you.
I was like, yes, I was like, and I was like, well, I don't like my resilience. I want something else. But this helped me realize like resilience can show up in different forms and spaces. And like the resilience I had when I was 11, moving to Houston and being resilient in a new environment is a
Okay.
different resilience. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
because the spirit was saying there's something in her childhood
yeah.
that makes her that has happened to her. And I'm like, honey, I don't what? I like what? And I didn't even go into it. I was just kind of like, okay, well, we've all had those things. So let me just clear it out, right? I just go straight into like, let's energetically get her out of that space. And now you're telling me like, yeah, that like there's a key part of my life in my childhood that really moved me to feel like this resistance around resilience because the shit sucked
Right,
in
because
its
the first time
own
I didn't even know what the word meant. My counselor, when I was applying to college and, sharing my story of and I'll never forget, that's the first time I ever heard that word or understood what that word. She was like, "You're so resilient." And
yeah.
so it made me go look it up and I was like, "Oh, that's what I am. I'm resilient." And I was like, I didn't even know I was resilient because apparently it was a big deal that I left my family at 12 to move to Houston for a big opportunity. And she's like, "You're so resilient." And so I guess it always sat with me. And so, and even like being resilient in different spaces and like anesthesia, where it's predominant, I'm
Yeah.
probably most of the time the only Black anesthesia provider, or
Yeah.
being a woman. And
Yes.
I was like, I'm always feel like I gotta be resilient. And
Yeah.
sometimes resilience looks different. Like sometimes resilience looks like you're being adaptable. I adapt to the environment so that I can make it,
So that you
or
can drive. Yeah.
right. But I'm like, no, this helped me be like, no, I can be resilient in a different space, in a,
So
not a
share with me what
survival
that,
mode.
yeah. So tell me what that looks like for you and how does that feel for you?
So now it feels like being resilient is actually just walking in my truth and being my authentic self in a space that feels good, looks good to me,
And how
and it
scary is
doesn't,
that? Like, how
yeah,
scary is that for us?
right,
Right? We've like literally been asked to do so many uncomfortable wear the mask type things.
right. Because
Yeah.
this still feels on, it feels, but I'm like, okay, it feels uncomfortable being myself and being authentic, but we're going in the right direction, and my resilience is gonna bring me there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm like,
I'm being
oh,
resilient
okay,
in joy.
right. I'm being resilient. I'm being
Yeah.
vulnerable,
Yeah.
but it's because it's for me.
It's
It's
for
for it's
you.
not. Yeah, it's not to survive. Like I'm good. I don't have to
Yes.
survive, but it's for
That's
me to
exactly
thrive.
the thing. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.